All right. We have 3 assessments in this unit. The second assessment is actually creating the marketing strategy, if you like, still within 2,500 words. Okay. Well, that should be enough for us. Okay. Let's look at the tasks. Okay. It is due on Friday, week 10. Please refer to the announcement that I posted in week 1 in terms of timetable. Okay, and it contributes 40% of your total mark. That means 40 marks. Okay, guys, that means we have the 3rd assessment. Okay, we are going to discuss that later on. Okay, approaching after we settle this one here. Okay, all right. Let's look at the instructions. Still using the same assessments, the same case study, the Donald Bay company. Okay, and if the first assessment actually requires us to analyze the situational analysis, the market environment, the second assessment is actually taking that further. We create the strategy. Okay, so that is the reason why I'm trying to give feedback as quickly as possible for the first assessments. Okay, now let's look at the tasks. Okay, this is the instruction. Okay, we need to demonstrate these research skills, for instance, report writing skills, and so on and so forth. Okay, by the way, I would personally recommend everyone, including me, okay, to keep investing in terms of writing skills. Okay, if there are opportunities for you to improve your writing skills, go for it. Okay, the school, if you look at the library website of Torrance University, you'll be able to find a library website. Check, find someone named Caroline. Is Caroline Spans. You can discuss your draft with Caroline to get feedback about your writing. Okay, she promised that she would respond to us, but she would reply within 2 business days, and she doesn't work on Mondays. Okay, so but you do not want to send your draft 2 days before it is due. The assessment is due. Okay, and the other thing I'd like to highlight to you is what you can expect from her is your writing, not the content, not the marketing content. Okay, right. So still the same scenario, and congratulations, basically, because we survived at least assessment 1. Okay, so now we move further to assessment 2. In assessment 2, essentially we create a marketing strategy. Okay. Now, when it comes to marketing strategy, what does it include? Well, it includes the target market, positioning, and marketing mix variables. They are the 3 major components that we want to include, okay, in our marketing strategy. Okay. Now, please make sure that you also need to look at the rubric. Okay, I'm not going to discuss rubric. Please go through the rubric yourself. Okay. Now, let's look at the tasks. Okay, we have these guys here: the target market. The target markets, the positioning, the marketing mix variables, and so on and so forth. Okay, now I'm going to open a blank document. Right, can anybody see my Word document? Can you all see my document, assessment to discussion? Right, just start here, MKT600, set our subject code. Oh, all right, let me, okay, stop sharing. Okay, thanks a lot for confirming. Okay, how about now? Can you see that? All right, thanks a lot, okay. Thanks for confirming me. Okay, so, the first thing that we need to do is target market. Okay, guys, can I suggest we have these for our assessment 2? We need to ensure that we include the executive summary. Okay, remember we did not do this for assessment 1, but for assessment 2, yes, please include it. Okay, And again, the other thing I'd like to highlight to you is always start your report with the introduction. That helps you to establish the context of your analysis. Okay. Here again, look, please don't copy and paste from your first assessment, because you may have high similarity index. Just summarize it briefly. Okay. And there you go. You get the introduction. Okay. Now, target market decision. We need to discuss 4 segmentation variables. Okay, we discussed these concepts in the previous webinar. Okay, so that includes geographic, demographic, psychographic, and behavioral. Okay, no discounts. Okay, you need to use all 4 variables, right? No discounts. And as promised to you before, I'm going to upload one page that shows an example on how we can use these 4 segmentation variables to outline our target market. Okay. Now, if you also use Roy Morgan value segment, okay, one value segment. Don't do more than one, because if you do more than one, it may be confusing. In real life, marketers may have 2 target markets, 2 sets of target markets: the core target market, and the other one is the secondary target market. Okay, but for us here, just use one of them and show the link between Roy Morgan value segment and 4 segmentation variables. Okay. And look, don't call Roy Morgan. Okay, you just need to download their reports on their websites and look at the specific value segment that you think relevant to your business, to your brand. Okay. The other thing that I'd like to highlight here is your justification. Okay, why these guys are the target market for your Donald B brand. Okay. Your Donald B brand may be different to your friend's Donald B brand. How you describe the business, the issues underpinning the strategy, and so on and so forth may be different. Okay. Yes, Juliana.
Hi. I just have a quick question. When you're talking about the Roy Morgan value segment, are you saying that we can use either the 4 segmentation or the Roy Morgan, or do we have to use both?
All right, that is actually a good question. This one is a must. Okay, this one is a must. Okay, yeah. The Roy Morgan is optional.
Oh, okay, perfect. Right? So yeah, that was my question. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. The 4 segmentation variable is a must. Why is that? It is the basic thing as a marketer that we need to understand. Okay. Guys, when you work in the marketing industry, you may even evolve these approaches of targeting or of segmentation to different ways. Okay. In my practice, for instance, my clients, I use a need state approach, for instance. So we segment the market based on the need state. Who needs what? Okay, and we group them, and then we select which need state that we want to compete. Okay, so that's but when we analyze the need state, we link that back to these 4 segmentation variables. Okay, who are they from demographic perspective? Where they live? Okay, the psychographic. Okay, I'll just mute everybody. Sorry about that. Okay. So and what lifestyle do they have? Okay. How do they behave in the market? Okay. What brand they use? Okay. What brand that they normally use? And after that, we can consider our own strategy. Okay. If we select certain need state segment, that helps us to understand how do we compete in this category. Okay. Right. So that's target market. So the one in here again is a must, okay, because this is the foundation thing that we need to do, okay. And the Roy Morgan if you do that, look, I'm not going to penalize you if you don't do Roy Morgan. It is actually a matter of getting more reward, basically. Okay, and if you do that, please make sure you link that to your 4 segmentation variables. Okay, right. Now the next one is positioning. All right, for positioning, all right, you need to have a bit of drawing. Okay, so you need to outline a positioning map. Positioning map or perceptual map. Okay, you can use PowerPoints. If you are more comfortable with PowerPoint, you can use PowerPoint slides and copy paste to your own Word document before you upload it. Okay, now your positioning map, as the name suggests, right, should include the major competitors at least, and your brand. And your Donald Day brand. Right. All right. Now, what are the attributes that we can use? Well, in terms of attributes that we can use, at least ideally, you relate that back to the need, to the needs of the customers, needs preferences of the customers. That is the reason why I want you to analyze the consumer behavior in assessment 1. Okay. And that helps you to understand which attributes are relevant to this business. Okay, and you map the major brands according to those attributes. Okay, and the second thing that you need to do is to outline a positioning statement. Right. Now, how do we do that? Well, a positioning statement is normally written as to whom, or in this instance, target market. Okay. Our brand is what? Concept. Okay. With what point of differentiation? Okay, I think in the previous one I discussed with you the example using Aldi brand. Okay, this is target market, possible target market, and this is the possible positioning. And I also show you the link between positioning and marketing mix variables. Okay, right. So that's positioning, and the next one is marketing mix variables. Right. Now, this is the one that I'd like to discuss more intensively next week, because I'm not sure whether we still have time today. We discuss product strategy. Okay, here we need to use the 3 levels of product. Point of differentiation. Points of differentiation. You can find it in the previous in the last webinar's topic. Okay. Okay. There are 5 points of differentiation: product differentiation, channel differentiation, service differentiation, image differentiation, and channel differentiation. Okay. At least one brand needs to excel in one variable. Okay. Points of differentiation or differentiation variable. Okay. At least you need to excel in one of them. Okay. Market leaders would normally excel in more than one. Okay, so if you look at Apple business, for instance, they differentiate their product through the processor. Okay, the design of the product. Okay, the iOS system, which is the processor, the sleek design of the product. Okay, that's part of their differentiation strategies. Okay. If you look at Apple again, in terms of channel, they have the Apple Store, the online store, and they also work with the retailers and mobile and telecommunication providers. Okay, from people differentiation perspective, they have a team to help the customer solving the problem, like the Apple Genius Bar, for instance. Okay. And this is one thing that Samsung is trying to catch up. Actually, they also established a Samsung store in Sydney CBD. Actually, almost on the same street. Actually, just the opposite, just a bit angle. Okay, and in terms of service, it is how they deliver the service. Okay, how they deliver the service, starting from the customers placing the order until they greet the customers. For instance, they train the customer service team to deliver the service. Okay. Now the last one is the image differentiation. It is actually about what the brand stands for. Okay, so if you look at Apple, they try to build the brand being an innovative brand, for instance. So that's the thing that they try to convey for the customers, and they also use the Apple logo consistently across the board. Okay, so hopefully that helps with the points of differentiation. Okay, product strategy. Please include the 3 levels of product concepts. This is the one that we will start to discuss. 3 levels of product concepts. This is the one that we'll discuss. Actually, if we don't have time today, we are going to discuss this in the next session. Okay, price strategy. Okay, in terms of pricing strategy, please include the either major pricing decision strategy, such as value-based pricing strategy, cost-based pricing strategy, or competition-based pricing strategy, or new product pricing strategy. Right, new product pricing strategy. Oops, I typed 2 times. Too much. Okay, that includes the price skimming or price penetration. Okay, and remember, we are going to discuss this basically. I'm going to highlight to you that price is the only marketing mix variables that is easy to adjust. So please include the price adjustment strategy. How do you adjust your price? Okay, are you going to run promotional activities? Okay, or are you going to give certain discount for those who buy bulk with you? Okay, or any. Okay, we are going to have a look at it in more detail when it comes to price, probably in the next session. Okay, product. I think I am confident that we can discuss the 3 levels of product decision after this. Okay, and then you can also discuss product mix pricing strategy, because very likely when you launch a product, you may launch a range of product. Then how do you decide the pricing? Okay, in chocolate product category, chocolate confectionery category, you may launch the 50-gram pack and 100-gram pack. Okay, you may launch original milk chocolate, dark chocolate, caramel, and so on and so forth. How are you going to price them? Okay, and the next one is placement strategy. Okay, placement strategy. There are 2 decisions that we need to include in the placement strategy. Okay, the first one is channel decision. The second one is distribution coverage decision. Okay, we are going to discuss this in the next session. Okay, and then we have the promotion strategy that we need to include. Okay, the promotion strategy actually there are 5 things that we need to decide: advertising, public relations, personal selling, sales promotion, and direct digital marketing. Okay, I do expect that the next session we can cover everything, all marketing mix variables, because so you are ready to work more on your assessment. Okay, and after that we need to discuss the people, process, and physical evidence. Okay, now if you select if you decide Donald B to be to expand the stores, then these 3 variables need your attention. Okay, so in other words, these 3 variables are those in services marketing. Okay, like retail marketing. Okay, people basically consist of the staff who are involved in the service delivery for the customers. Process includes the system and procedure for the company to deliver the service for the customers to ensure customer satisfaction. Okay, physical evidence basically anything that symbolize the services delivered for the customers. Okay, so if we look at a retail industry such as David Jones, for instance, okay, people in here include anybody who help the customers, who help delivering the service for the customers. Okay, you can look at the people in the selling floor, the people who manage the cash register, and also people at the backstage there to manage the merchandise, the logistical, and so on and so forth. Process in here, if you think about stores like David Jones, include the system and procedure, like the customers placing the order and so on and so forth, including online order and also store order, for instance. Okay, and physical evidence include the symbol. If you in a retail environment, that includes the ambience of the store, the logo on the signboard, okay, the windows display, how they organize the layout of the store. Okay, so that's part of the physical evidence. Okay, right. And lastly, please write the conclusion. Okay, and conclusion and recommendation. So that's basically our assessment. Okay, and don't forget the references. Okay, so that's basically our assessment. Yeah. Any questions, guys? All good? Or you're pretty tired after the assessment? Okay. All right. Look, let's move on. We discussed product concepts briefly. Okay. Thanks a lot, Tarani. Let's discuss the product concept. Okay. All right. Can you see my screen, the PowerPoint slides? It is. Yeah, it is. It is. It should be enough. Look, again, plus minus 10%, Pablo. That excludes your word limit, excludes the title page, table of content, and also references. Just the content, basically. Okay. So you want to condense the introduction, okay, because you have introduced that anyway. Okay. The executive summary briefly include to capture the main points. Okay. All right, now look, let's jump into the product. Look, product is actually defined as anything that can be offered for the customers for their attention, acquisition, and consumption that might meet their needs. That's what we mean by product. In the olden days, a product was defined as anything that we make, anything that we offer for the customers, anything that we make and offer for the customers. Okay, not in this context. So we need to consider from the customer perspective. Okay. Now, this is a bit of example where a product has also customers' characters. And also customers' cultural factors that affect their decision in buying products. Okay, here we may find okay, what kind of product that is, but look, in Japan, they're not bad in terms of performance. Okay, if you look at the definition of marketing that we discussed in the first webinar, we say that we use the term market offerings because that includes product, services, experiences. Okay, and if we use the term product, it may be associated with a physical good. Okay, and we don't want that. All right. Okay. Now this is the main one I'd like to discuss with you guys today. The 3 levels of product. Please make sure you include it in your assessments. Okay, 3 levels of product is basically a guideline for the product planners, in this instance you, to help detailing the product that meets, designing the product that meets the customer's need. Okay, so core customer value or core product basically reflects what the customer is really buying from us. Okay, so if we go to Banning warehouse and buy a drill, okay, well, the core customer value in here is not the drill. The core customer value is basically about the reason why we buy the drill. Okay, so what the customer is really buying reflects the reasons why the customers buy. In other words, it is also about the benefits that the customers are expecting. Okay, so if we go back to the drill, well, what's the reason we buy the drill? It's to make a hole. Okay, so in other words, the core customer value of the drill is actually to make a hole. Okay, and you can imagine, what about if it is in a car, for instance? What is the core customer value of a car? Well, why do we buy a car? Because you want to move from A to B. That is our core customer value. Okay, now that core customer value may be different from one brand to the other brand. Okay, if you look at Qantas, for instance, you can compare, or Emirates airline, for instance, you can compare that to Ryanair in Europe, or Tiger in Australia, or Jetstar in Australia. Okay, one of them is flying in the luxury fly from A to B. The other one is budget fly from A to B. Okay, so that's one thing that you can also consider when it comes to adjusting the core customer value to the brand. Okay, now the core customer value should be reflected by the actual product, because the core customer value is actually the premise. Okay, that reflects the positioning, okay, of the brand. And it is still in the context of the it is still at abstract level, because that is the core customer value. The core customer value is actually about what we promise for the customers, the benefit that we promise to deliver for the customers. Okay, and the actual product is the opportunity for marketers to detail. Okay, therefore the actual product should reflect the core customer value. Okay, so that includes the brand name, which brand that we want to use. Okay, Donald B or Donald B Watt, for instance. Okay, and features, what features that we want to include in the actual product. Okay, obviously, the more premium the product is, the more features, services that you want to include in here. Okay, design, how you want to design it, design the product. Okay, the packaging, how you want to package the product. Is that going to be, if you look at your mobile phone, are you going to use a box, and before you put the mobile phone into the box, are you going to put it in a compartment, for instance, right? Another box that has compartments, or do you also want to put a thin plastic to cover the screen and to cover the main parts of the mobile device, for instance, right? That's part of your packaging strategy. Okay, and in the context of consumer goods, you need to ask yourself: are you going to package that every 10, or you want to include one case? You want to put, let's say, 20 units in one case, for instance. Okay, and so on and so forth. And the quality level, what quality level that you want to promise for the customers? Is that the premium quality level, top level of quality, or average, because you want to compete in the mainstream category, or you want to undercut the price, or you want to offer the budget one, so just something that is quite cheap for the customers. Okay, and the next one is augmented product, which is basically the extra benefit. Okay, extra benefit for the customers, right? Extra benefit or services for the customers. This one includes the information that you provide, okay, like the nutritional facts or the 1800 number, post-sale service, warranty and discounts, and also in the case of car, again, it can also include the service stations. Okay, all right. So that's basically the 3 levels of product, guys, that I'd like to highlight to you in relation to your assessments. Okay, any question? Hello, any question? No, all good? All right, brilliant. Well, look, if you don't have any question, I think we will end the session today, okay? I understand that you all have worked hard for, you know, in the previous assessments. And